Have you noticed that a few years ago we had very little censorship, and now we have a lot? In early 2020, YouTube started brutally censoring videos on coronavirus for no apparent reason. They said the topic was sensitive, so they're censoring it? A few years ago, sensitive topics were not censored on YouTube or anywhere else. Why now? YouTube's executives have declared that if any video has any content that does not agree with the World Health Organization, that video will be censored. So now, disagreement with an unelected globalist organization that has no legitimate authority will cause you to be censored. A few years ago, you could disagree with things. Now, you cannot. Is the World Health Organization such a perfect and divine organization that mere disagreement with them should be prohibited and forcibly removed from all public discourse? The World Health Organization has been accused of corruption, been accused of promotion of pharmaceutical industry interests, been accused of secret depopulation agendas. So the idea that disagreement with them should be suppressed is a bit absurd. We can't talk about that. It is obvious how dangerous and evil that proposition is when this agenda is being pushed by the largest new media platforms in the world: YouTube, Google, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and many other mass media social platforms. This is a very new idea that you shall not be permitted to publicly express disagreement with something. If a topic is deemed by some handful of unidentified elites to be sensitive, you cannot say it, you cannot see it. So this thing we call social media, this platform where we can all connect and have open dialogue among ourselves, no longer permits open dialogue. When we started using social media, it was exciting because we were the content providers. But now, when we create content, we have to self-censor. We have to try and figure out how to dodge the word, the phrase, the issues, the topics that media executives don't personally like today and have chosen to remove from their mass media platforms, even though they are not the ones creating the content. We are now to create content in a little confined box, and we must now please not just ourselves and our contacts, we must first and foremost please the platform police. Authoritarians have some odd ways of working. They don't make the rules real clear. They wait for someone to do something they don't like, and then they attack that person. They do a phony fact check and assassinate their character. They censor, they ban, they mess with search results, they play dirty, they give no warning, they provide no clear guidelines. They just wait until they see something they don't like, and then they attack. This is why authoritarianism is bad, because you not only have to comply, very often you don't know what you are supposed to comply with until it is too late and you're being attacked for doing something you thought was okay to do. Authoritarians don't look good when they make laws that say you can be attacked if you offend the rulers. So they don't make those laws. They don't have to make any laws if they're authoritarians. They can punish anyone anytime for no reason. So who needs laws? Who needs clear policies that we can read, understand, and agree on? They don't care if we agree with them. They don't want us to know what they are going to do next. Constantly moving the goalposts is one of the ways they stay in power, confusing the public to make them desperately try to comply and keep them off balance, try to guess what the current policies actually are. YouTube removes videos and entire channels without any warning. That is how they do it. They don't even follow their own policies when they do that. They don't contact you. They don't let you speak with the person censoring your video. They don't give you anything resembling due process, like the right to confront your accuser. You will never know who your accuser is, and you won't even be told specifically what you are accused of. They told me I had violated community guidelines on some videos that very obviously did not violate any reasonable community guidelines. That is how I learned that the term community guidelines had no particular definition. Community guidelines was whatever YouTube wants to call community guidelines on any particular day. So your video is down, your channel is down, perhaps your livelihood was taken down by YouTube, but it will be without warning, without any conversation with you. It is YouTube removing other people's things without consent, explanation, or warning. This is how little respect YouTube and Google have for their content providers, the people who literally create the channels on their otherwise empty platforms are treated like criminals in communist China. The people who attract viewers to their advertisers, the people who do all the work of developing audiences for those platforms, do all the investment to produce the media content for them. The people who represent the soul and working body of modern media are given no chance to protect that investment, and their work is simply destroyed, removed, manhandled by a few nameless, faceless ideologues deep inside Silicon Valley. Your content is simply removed in the most disrespectful, damaging, and abusive way possible. So a few years ago, we did not have this, and now we do. Things have changed. You are no longer permitted to see vast amounts of information that YouTube, Google, and many other platforms used to let you see. But you are being given no opportunity to even know what you are not being allowed to see. Thousands of channels full of information have now been removed, and you have no clue what ideas and information you will never be aware of. We have to keep the perspective that this is both a major change and a major problem. This is not normal. In my lifetime, I have never before seen censorship of public discourse in America, censorship of movies, channels, books, and even public conversations on a mass scale. This is not something that was supposed to be possible in this country. This is something or someone keeping you stupid, uninformed, compliant, out of the loop. In your little censored social media bubble where you are spoon-fed narratives of the mega corporations that control your media and thereby control you. We owe a lot to the people who find and share high-value information. You might know something interesting about Bill Gates, thanks to James Corbett. You might know some things about vaccinations, thanks to Del Bigtree and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. You might know some things about mass surveillance, thanks to Edward Snowden. You might know some things about the Rothschild family, thanks to Aaron Russo. You might know something about 9/11, thanks to Richard Gage. You might know something about government finance, thanks to Catherine Austin Fitts and Mark Skidmore. All of those people and those topics are being censored, banned, and suppressed. You are now supposed to forget all those things and pretend you never heard them. We are now being told to live in a pretend world where government and corporations are always good and right, and anyone who disagrees is crazy and wrong. If you search for a taboo topic like the vaccine hazards, you will see that on Google, all the search results will be pro-vaccine, or they will downplay the risks. You will see no search results for what you actually searched for, vaccine hazards, of which there are many, but on Google there are very few. So when you do a Google search for some banned topic, you not only don't get the information, you are swamped with a load of propaganda, lies, and diversion in your search results. So Google is not just censoring, it is making itself useless and irrelevant. You can be a valuable public service, or you can be an ideological advocate, but you cannot be both for very long. While we try to scrape together some truth from what is left of our media, it is sometimes easy to forget censorship has already run ahead of us. The information is gone. It is very hard to see this as it happens. To get around this problem, we will have to take a very different approach to how we get and share information. We will have to do this in new and creative ways that outsmart the censorship. We will have to develop ways to completely bypass mainstream platforms and create our own decentralized networks. We will have to develop trust with our network contacts and have a healthy skepticism for those who insist on promoting institutional mainstream narrative. I know many of us are doing this already, but it has to go up a notch. We will have to reject and isolate people who attack us for being outside the mainstream. Our small decentralized networks that consist of maybe only a few members in each will naturally connect with each other and become a mesh network on a larger and larger scale until that mesh network grows to national and international scales and becomes unstoppable by any centralized campaign of censorship. As long as we put a value on true and independent information, that information will find its way to and through us. Those who do not support free thought and open conversations will become brainwashed, controlled, and owned by big media, big corporations, big government, as we have already seen happen. As we find ways to bypass Google, YouTube, Facebook, all the censored platforms, we may have to limit videos to 1 or 2 minutes and lower the screen resolution so we can host them on our own computers and transfer them easily. We may have to help each other learn how to exploit and use the dark web and alternative technologies. We will have to find ways to make it work because the censors are upping their game 24/7. Decentralization is the key. There's no other way to preserve the integrity of the network and protect the flow of information than by decentralization. Each of us only has to share with a handful of other people, and that network will expand and grow on an unlimited scale if enough people realize that it is the only remaining way to get good information. But we will have to focus on the quality, the clarity, conciseness, and relevance of the information we share. We'll have to stop attacking each other, blowing hot air, and wasting each other's time. Those few people you trust and with whom you share critical information can be called your PDN, which stands for Popular Decentralized Network, a fully open source concept with no central administration of any kind. This is the network that we already use when we communicate directly with people we know and trust, but this can be expanded if we want to be consciously doing something to defeat censorship and disinformation. The PDN will have no choke points, no constant form, no central point of authority, no shape or structure. It will change whenever or however it needs to keep information flowing. The PDN is any place where censorship is not working and truth can be found. When we see a problem with trolls or shills, we can simply drop that node and create others. This is the way we fill the censorship void with a durable alternative that we control. Please share this video and share the idea of PDN. If you like official narratives and don't believe in conspiracies, this is not for you. This is for people who know conspiracies exist, who know there are bad people doing bad things, who know that we need to know about these things or we will be hurt. When you tell someone that they are on your PDN, you are telling them that they are trusted and they are part of a global system of free thought and information. In the near future, that PDN may be the only place left where we will be able to share and find free thought and current high-value information. My videos are sponsored by long-term emergency storage food at the website preparewithjerry.com. Wholesome, appetizing food prepared and packaged for a 25-year storage lifespan, protecting you better than an insurance policy because you can't eat an insurance policy, better than your police department because your police simply can't help everybody when things get really bad. The idea is that no matter what happens, no matter how sudden, you will have food in the house. A month's worth of food, 2 months or more, whatever works for the size of your family and your desire to be prepared. When store shelves are empty or when it's not safe to go out, you don't have to worry. You and your family will be fed. Never before have we seen so many disruptions at once, like the lockdowns, pandemics, social unrest, foolish edicts by public officials, millions of people out of work, businesses failing, supply chain disruptions. And with things like this going on, we all have to decide how to react and how to prepare. The answer is not to live in fear, it's just to be prepared and then go on with your life. Go to the website preparewithjerry.com, find the solution that fits your needs, and then go on with your life.